Hi guys, and welcome back to the No Gluten Zone. I create content for people with what I call food issues. That can be allergies, intolerances, sensitivities, or autoimmune conditions that affect your diet. Today I'm talking about pet food, and you may wonder how that is connected. So in my situation, I have celiac disease. I do have some other food issues, but the main one being gluten. And so if I'm feeding my dog food that has gluten in it, it's a big risk to me, both feeding time, cleaning up crumbs, even when you're picking up their poop, there's just gluten. And if you have children playing in the yard where the dog is pooping, that's children that shouldn't be around gluten. There's just a lot of issues there. Beyond that, our dog is trained to be a gluten detection dog. So it's really not a good idea for our dog to be eating gluten because she could possibly give a false positive when checking something because she smells gluten like on herself while she's checking it. So it's really important that our dog stays gluten-free. And we recently got a new puppy, and it is also going to be trained to be a gluten detection dog. So they both need to be gluten-free. And I bought several brands of food in the beginning and tested them, and none of them were consistently gluten-free. I do see people finding some that are gluten-free. The question still remains, is every batch gluten-free or is it a hit and miss? Because they are just so often cross-contaminated. Even if they don't contain grains or they don't contain gluten grains, they still have gluten. It's either a cross-contamination issue or there's just dishonest ingredient labeling happening, which is possible. Pet food labeling is a little sketchy, right? Early on when I got Brownie, who's now 5 years old, early on I was actually just cooking food for her and she loved it. But it was a lot of work, and then I learned about raw diets for dogs, and I actually really believe that that is better for them and healthier for them in their natural environment. That's how they would be eating the food anyway. That's how their bodies are designed. So I really believe it's good for them. So I've been doing that, and I have done all these years that we've had her, I've been doing like a DIY raw, because it's just cheaper. Most of the pre-made raw foods are really pricey, and then you still have to worry about the possibility of it being contaminated with gluten. So a DIY raw has always been the easiest, simplest thing. I recently learned about this company. It's rawdeliverymn.com is their website. They are in Minnesota. They have several pickup locations within Minnesota if you happen to live in Minnesota, and then they ship. I believe they ship for the whole United States. I might be mistaken. I'm still very new to this company and still learning. They have a lot of stuff. I got on their email list, and so I get emails about when to order and that sort of thing. Typically, I guess you order by Thursday. Thursday night is the cutoff, and they ship on Monday. And how long the shipping takes depends where you're at. So I'm in Southern California. I paid $56 for shipping, and it went out on a Monday and arrived here on a Thursday. But even calculating in the shipping cost, this was still very affordable and somewhat cheaper, kind of equal and cheaper. It depends which food you're looking at. For the beef, this is still cheaper than what I was buying and doing on my own. And for the turkey, which I'm going to compare to chicken that I buy for them, it's a little bit more. But the really nice thing is that these are already proportioned in 80-10-10 ratios. That is 80% meat, 10% bone, and 10% organ. Doing a DIY raw, the hardest part was the organs, finding organs that my dogs will eat. So I was dehydrating them for a while because they didn't want to eat them fresh. And then I was buying them freeze-dried in capsules, either giving them capsules or opening the capsules. It's a lot of work and it's still a lot of money. So I'm really excited for the convenience factor of this. I ordered 1 box here of beef, 1 box of turkey. The most affordable options they have are the beef, turkey, and pork. I don't eat pork, and I really don't want to feed raw pork to my dog because pork, especially raw or undercooked pork, can have parasites. That's just a personal issue I have, so I'm choosing to not buy anything with pork in it. But we have a box of beef and a box of turkey here, and they are in the 80-10-10 ratios. You have to buy in quantities of 9s because 9 packages fit in a box. So you're either going to buy 9 or 18 or 27. So you can't just say like, I need this much weight of food. You have to order it according to their boxes and their box sizes. I think that's part of what helps them keep their costs down and makes it more affordable for the consumer. They do have a lot more options on the website. And before I move on to that, I will say if you order 8 or more of something, you get an $8 discount. So I ordered, this is 9 beef, 9 turkey. I might have that backwards, but there's 9 beef and 9 turkey, a box of each. And so I did get an $8 discount on each of those. So that just kind of makes sense. But I think next time I order, I'm gonna do 8 beef and 8 turkey, and then I'm gonna throw on, they have one called a frontier mix. I'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna add one of those. And then they have one that's just organs. So if you do have something to feed them that's not in the 80-10-10 proportions, you could add the organs in yourself. And some of the foods they do sell, they tell you are not 80-10-10, like it's just the meat. And so then you could add the organs on yourself and do that. Their website is really, really good. They have all the information for how much to feed your dogs. It really depends on like your dog's age and weight. And then there's like a range, a percentage range of how much food to give them for that. Yeah, you consider your dog's activity level, and then ultimately you watch your dog's body and you watch their weight. I will, when I upload this video, I will upload a couple graphics on watching your dog's weight because I do that. I do watch my dog, and sometimes she's getting a little thin, sometimes she's getting a little heavy, and then I make adjustments to the food accordingly because it's going to vary sometimes. It's not perfect science. So that's just kind of how it goes. So let me go over other things they offer, and then I'll open this up and show you. So they do have patties rather than, these are just 5-pound tubes of ground meat, bone, and organ. They do have patties. So they have beef patties in 80-10-10. They're a little bit more money though, so I would rather just get the tubes. But for someone who wants it to be easier, because I'm gonna have to take these tubes and weigh out the amounts for my 2 dogs and just put them, I put them into Ziploc bags, freeze them up, and then just thaw them before I need them. If someone wants it to be a little easier to measure the amounts, they could buy these patties. They have grass-fed green tripe. The only ingredient is beef tripe. So this is not something you just feed as a meal. This is something you add a little bit into their meals. It's from the inner lining of the stomach, I believe, and it's supposed to be really good for them and for their digestive system. But people say it smells really, really bad. I have not smelled it, don't know, haven't ordered it yet. They have the pork mix, which is like this beef and turkey. It's in 80-10-10. The beef mix, the 80-10-10 like I got, these are 5-pound tubes. And there is a trio mix. I forgot about that one. It's beef, pork, and turkey mixed together in an 80-10-10 proportion, 5-pound tubes. Again, I don't do the pork, so I wouldn't be buying that. And then the turkey mix in 80-10-10. They have a beaver grind, which is actually the same price as the other ones. That's really affordable. It does say limited time product, and it's not an 80-10-10. You would need to get the organ one and add that in. Then they have beef and turkey patties, again, for someone who wants them. They're 4-ounce patties, so it's a little easier to measure the amounts out, but it's a little more money than buying just the tubes. They have a limited edition bison tripe. It is bison green tripe. They do warn you about the smell, but again, that's supposed to be really good for their digestive system. And that's not like a food, that's just something you add into a meal, a small amount. I am hoping to get next time around the Frontier mix. It is a mix of bison, beaver, and venison with green bison tripe in it. It is an 80-10-10 in a 5-pound tube. So that one I'm eager to try out and see how the dogs like it. They have a duck mix that is 80-10-10. They have patties of turkey, pork, and duck. They have Bell's Beef Burger, which is ground beef, which includes heart for the extra taurine. I do give my dogs a taurine supplement once a week because large breeds on raw diets, they find are lacking in taurine and it can lead to heart issues. And these are meat only, it's not an 80-10-10. They have salmon patties. They have a lamb mix that is 80-10-10. A turkey MST, I don't know what MST stands for, and it's boneless. So this is not an 80-10-10. They have patties of beef, pork, and lamb. They have the beef organ blend. That's the one I'm planning to get. It's kidney, spleen, sweetbreads, and bull fries. This is to be fed along with meat and bones. This is not something you feed on its own. They have a pork, heart, and organ blend. They have a rabbit grind, which is meat, bone, and organ. And that's the end of the list for right now. So if you are local and you're picking up in Minnesota, I have seen on the website that they have like little treats and things that you can also add on. But as far as shipping, that's the list right now. And some of the stuff gets out of stock or it's just a temporary offer. So you need to jump on those when they have them. But I'm gonna open this up. I am really excited. These boxes are bigger than I expected they each have 9 5-pound tubes of meat. I've done videos before about the beef that we order through the mail, grass-fed, grass-finished, and they ship. So I'm assuming this is going to be shipped similar to that. Again. Okay, this is the beef mix box. They have a warning about Memorial Day. So since their shipping day is on Mondays, some Mondays are holidays, they give you a lot of information about that. Personally, I just ordered ahead of time to avoid worrying about all that. But they do give you information on what to do. So yes, this is packed very much like when we order beef online, where it's all wrapped up, there's a foil bag. It's still very cold in here. Even though this shipped on Monday and it's now Thursday, it's still very cold. So there's 9 of these. I'm not gonna pull out all 9 of these on camera, but this is what they look like. This is still frozen solid, just so you know. And it says ingredients are beef heart, beef meat, beef bone, beef liver, beef kidney, beef spleen, beef sweetbreads, and beef bowl fries. This is for dogs and cats. I did reach out to them and ask them about being gluten-free and my concern with things being cross-contaminated, shared equipment with wheat, and they assured me that they grind everything in-house and there is no gluten anywhere. So there's like no way that this could have gluten. But when this is thawed out, I will have my dog check it and I will add it onto this video. But it's not gonna happen right now because this is frozen. And this says turkey mix. I am surprised they don't offer any chicken. I wonder if there's a reason for that, or they just don't have it. These are also totally solid frozen. It is the turkey mix. Ingredients are turkey meat, turkey heart, turkey bone, turkey liver, and turkey testes for dogs and cats. And it's dated here, the batch and everything. So there you have it. I'm going to get these pulled out and put away. When they're thawed out, I will have my dog check them for gluten on camera, and I might get them filmed eating it so you can see how they like it. One final word is some people will add other stuff to this, like vegetables. Some people add fruit. Some people add egg, like all kinds of stuff. Some people still add grains. So it's just a personal choice. Some pre-made raws will come with that stuff added in. I prefer it doesn't because it's less chance of cross-contamination with gluten happening, and then you get to add what you want. But yes, within the raw diet community, there's a lot of variations, a lot of opinions, and at the end of the day, you feed your animal the way you feel is best. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. All right, check. All right. Check. Good girl.
Is it yummy? Is it yummy, turkeys? Oh, it's yummy, huh? Is it yummy, Ruger? Is it yummy? Okay, I'm just gonna pop in here and add this little section before I get this video put out, because I think this could be a really important factor in buying this food or just making it work, especially if you're new to feeding your dog raw. Sometimes just finding your routine and getting it going and working for you in your situation, in your house, can be what makes it or breaks it for you. I found this container. It is Rubbermaid brand. I found it at Walmart. I checked Target. They didn't have it. I checked Amazon. They had a 2-pack. So Walmart had this for about $15. Amazon had a 2-pack for $45, which I thought it was overpriced, and I don't think I need to. You might want to. That's just a choice. So this it says on the bottom, 40 cups or 9.4 liters, and it is the Rubbermaid brand. What works here is that it is the same length as these tubes of meat. I kind of wish these tubes of meat were shorter and fatter. I feel like they would be easier to manage in thawing out. As they thaw out, liquid comes out of here, and it looks like blood. I was told like it's not really blood, it's myoglobin or something, and it has a lot of protein, and you want to make sure you're feeding that to your dog. So what I have done is when I weigh this out, I thaw this out, and then I put it on the scale and portion it out and put it into little Ziploc baggies, and I label, because I have 2 different dogs, 2 different weights. So I label which dog it's for, and then I split their daily amount in half. I feed them in the morning and at night. That's just my way of doing it. You can feed them once a day, 3 times a day, 4 times, like whatever works for you, right? But I'm just sharing what I'm doing to maybe help somebody. So I thaw this out, and then the liquid component was sort of throwing off my measurements. So I've actually decreased, when I weigh out the actual meat portion, I make it about 2 ounces less than what I need, because then adding back in the liquid makes up for that 2 ounces, it seems so far. And so what I actually do, because your Ziploc bags can sometimes leak liquid can get really, really messy. So I will actually thaw this out in here, and then I portion it out, weigh it out, put the meat in the baggies, and then I pour the liquid into a mason jar and I keep it separate. And then I just add a little bit of the liquid to each meal. That's what I'm doing, and it's working really well for me. So I wanted to show this though. Unfortunately, this doesn't fit in my refrigerator, but I'm sure it would fit in some people's refrigerators. And the reason I said you might want a 2-pack is you might want to have one of these with, one of these thawed out, and then have one under that's frozen and in the process of thawing. I don't know. That's a possibility. If you had room for that in your refrigerator, I think that would be great, but I don't. So what I do is I thaw this out overnight on the counter, and then in the morning it's thawed and I portion it all out and put the liquid into a mason jar. But I really like to take the wrapper off while it's still frozen, because especially on the ends, I don't know if you can see all the little like crinkles in the plastic on the end. Once it's thawed and really soft, some of it gets like stuck in there, and it's a small amount, but it's still waste. If you take it off while it's frozen, nothing gets stuck in the wrapper and you waste nothing. So I like that. I like zero waste. And you can actually you could have 2 side by side in here. You could even have a third one sitting on top if you just want the lid like just sitting loosely on it. And if you don't need a lid at all, you could probably fit 4. I don't know who would want to thaw that many at one time, although I will say we just got back from a week-long trip, traveling in our motorhome, and I had to get a bunch of these thawed out in advance, thawed, weighed, portioned out, and ready to go. And then a bunch of them went back in the freezer, and I just thawed a little each day as we went on our trip, and it worked really well. But normally I'm not thawing a whole bunch at once. But if you were getting ready for a trip or something like that, you could potentially do up to 3 or 4 in here. But yeah, what I do is I just take a knife and I slice it. And then I peel it. See, nothing stuck. There will be zero waste happening here. Slice it. And this is the beef mix. Peel it. So I hope this was helpful, because I was having issues fitting this in my refrigerator. So then I was actually standing it up in the door of the refrigerator in Ziploc bags. But as the liquid is coming out, it was, so far bags they leak. So I'm like double bagging, triple bagging. It was kind of, so I hope this was helpful. And then as they're thawing, they're not standing straight in the door anymore. They're falling over. And so this has really been a game changer and really, really helpful for the situation. So I wanted to go ahead and add this onto the video before I edit it and publish it, just in case it might help somebody. But I hope this is helpful, because this has really made it so much easier for us. Publish this, if I will